If you watched my last video, I told you that I had a wild mouse running around my house. And as soon as I was done recording that episode, I was going to go to the store and buy some mouse traps. And I did exactly that. I went out and picked up 8 glue traps and 2 spring-loaded traps. This is a spring-loaded trap. It's got an opening for the mouse to go through. He goes through there and it just closes up on him. And here's the glue trap. Like I said, I got 8 of these, and there's only about 4 or 5 survivors left. And I'll tell you why. That particular glue trap I put a super worm on. I put a super worm on that one, a live one, because when we had a pet mouse, it loved to eat super worms. So I figured, what's different about a real mouse or a wild mouse? So on that trap I put a super worm, but all the other ones I put a dab of peanut butter right in the center of the trap. And because I have 2 dogs, I put them in very hard to reach places. Well, as I'm sitting in here playing Super Nintendo games for this episode, it's not even 10 minutes since I laid all these traps. All I hear is a tapping sound outside the door. And I'm like, what is that? I opened the door and one of my dogs went into the bathroom and reached his paw behind the sink and stuck his paw right in the glue trap. And it was stuck to the bottom of his paw. Then he ended up getting another one that was behind the entertainment center in the living room. And after that, he ended up getting one that was in this game room. See, normally I don't let the dogs in here, but he came in here because I left the door open and got one that was pretty much out in the open because I usually don't let the dogs in. And finally I had one in the laundry room closet, and it actually caught this mouse. The only reason I know it caught the mouse is because I checked all the traps before I went to bed, and when I woke up the next morning, I go to look at all the traps again, and this trap is gone. So I start looking around for this trap, and somehow this mouse got caught in the trap, was trying to wiggle itself free, and the mouse in the trap went under the laundry room closet door, and somehow this mouse managed to escape the trap. And typically mice are kind of smart, so he's not gonna fall for the same trap again. Oh my gosh, no way. This is so creepy. So I pick up these traps to show him for the video. And I don't know if you've seen the video or not, but some episodes back, I told you that I reached and grabbed a drawer in the game room and I felt something on my hand. And it was a brown recluse on my hand. And I also mentioned seeing a brown recluse the day before under my Mario statue. So this one with the live super worm on it obviously attracted some spiders. Well, anyways, I reached down to pick this thing up and I see something move. There are 3 brown recluse spiders on this trap. These aren't wolf spiders. These are brown recluse, poisonous spiders. So if nothing else, at least this trap caught 3 poisonous spiders. 2 of these at least are still alive because I've been seeing them move. So even though these traps weren't able to hold the mouse, at least they're holding something much worse. But anyways, I go into Walmart today. And tell me if I'm the only one this happens to. Every single time I go into Walmart, it seems like there's an employee pushing a massive cart extremely fast right behind me. Like right on my heels. Like they're about to give me a flat tire. I always end up having to switch lanes and then they fly right past me pushing this cart. Every single time. Am I the only one this happens to? Anyways, I'm getting way off topic. Today we have 5 more games that we'll be adding to the collection. Let's check them out. And the first game up is the Lost Vikings. The Lost Vikings was developed by Silicon and Synapse and published by Interplay. It released for the Super Nintendo in 1993. 3 Vikings go out for a day of hunting. Olaf the Stout, Baliog the Fierce, and Eric the Swift. After a long day of hunting, they retire to their huts. Meanwhile, an intergalactic zookeeper, Tomater, is looking for adequate specimens for his zoo. He ends up abducting the 3 Vikings, and now they must escape the ship and return home. You play as all 3 Vikings. Each have their own abilities. Eric can run, jump, and bash things with his head. Bashing walls with his head can reveal hidden areas. Baliog has a sword and a bow and arrow, and Olaf has a shield. His shield can block enemy attacks, and he can use it to glide. You have to finish each level with all 3 Vikings. If anyone dies, you have to give up and start over. Each Viking can take 3 hits. However, they can find food to replenish health if they get low. There's also other items to help you on your quest, such as bombs to blow things up, smart bombs which kill all enemies on the screen, colored keys that will unlock the same colored locks, and gravity boots to keep you grounded in certain scenarios. There are also switches to unlock paths. Some switches are at a distance, so only Baliog can hit him with his bow and arrow. This game is a blast. I have no complaints with the game whatsoever. It has a funny story, excellent controls, graphics and sound, and it has unique gameplay that I've never experienced before. If you're looking for a fun game to add to your collection, check out The Lost Vikings. The Lost Vikings is game number 169 for the collection, and it cost me $83 shipped. And at $83, that brings our total up to $29,365 for the collection. And the next game up is The Lost Vikings 2. The Lost Vikings 2 was developed by Blizzard Entertainment and published by Interplay. It released for the SNES in 1997. After defeating Tomater and returning home, the 3 Vikings found themselves dissatisfied with their lives and each went on their own adventures. But after a while, they got homesick and all found themselves back at the village. The 3 brothers decide to take a fishing trip, but on their way back, they get abducted again. It's been a year since they escaped Tomater's ship, but with Tomater's time travel ability, it's only been a week for him, and he wants his revenge. The Lost Vikings 2 is the same exact concept as the first game. However, this game has a few noteworthy differences. Eric still runs and can bash his head unlocking paths, but he now has a rocket boost allowing him to take out walls overhead and jump higher. And he's also able to swim. Baliog now has an energy saber instead of a sword, and a bionic arm instead of a bow and arrow. The bionic arm allows him to swing off jewels and grab items that are out of reach. Olaf still has a shield, but in this game he can also fart. Yes, fart to break up floors or give him an extra boost while gliding. They also added 2 additional characters, Fang the werewolf and Scorch the dragon. The graphics and sound got a big improvement and the gameplay is pretty much identical. The game is just as fun as the first one. I plan on coming back to both of the Lost Viking games and doing a full playthrough of them. If you're looking for some fun puzzle platforming games, you can't go wrong with either of the Lost Viking games. The Lost Vikings 2 is game number 170 for the collection, and it cost me $140 shipped. And at $140, that brings our total up to $29,505 for this SNES quest. Up next we have Super Slapshot. Super Slapshot was developed by Ringler Studios and published by Virgin Games. It slid into stores in 1993. Super Slapshot gives you multiple ways to play. You have your standard exhibition and tournament mode, then you can practice shootouts and practice fights. Exhibition and tournament are your standard hockey game. The frame rate and graphics are pretty decent, with the exception of the players looking like cardboard cutouts. The face-offs are different than any other hockey game we've covered. You have to get close to the puck and make a red light turn green to hit it. I was able to win the first game I played, and it was a pretty fun game. In most of the games we covered, your player usually automatically switches to the one closest to the puck. In this game, you have to hit the R button to switch. Finally, it can be difficult to tell when the other team steals the puck, or who has the puck at times, but that's only a minor complaint. It's decent gameplay overall. Fighting mode lets you practice your fighting. All the buttons are used for fighting. L and R duck and block, Y jabs from a distance, X is a roundhouse, B is a low blow, and A is an uppercut for when you're up close. It's a really cool mode that hasn't been in any other game we've reviewed. Finally, there's a shootout mode. It's really weird. You only use the D-pad to play it. A teammate passes you the puck, and you push it in the direction you want to shoot it. They pass the puck at different speeds, so if you're not paying attention, you can easily miss it. Controlling the goalie also just uses the D-pad. You push in the direction you want to block. Overall, Super Slapshot is a decent hockey game. If you're looking for a unique hockey game on the SNES, give this game a shot. Super Slapshot is game number 171 for the collection, and I have $25 in trade for it. And at $25, that brings our total up to $29,530 for the Super NES Complete in Box Quest. Up next we have International Tennis Tour. International Tennis Tour was developed by Laurasills and published by Taito. It bounced into stores in 1993. International Tennis Tour gives you many options to play. You have training mode, exhibition, and tournament modes. In training modes, you have even more options. You can practice your serving by trying to hit random targets, precision practice, which lets you hit balls coming at you and try to hit targets, or you can practice a regular game. There's also 4 different types of courts to choose from, including hard, indoor, clay, or grass. Finally, there's 3 difficulty modes, and they all play differently. In beginner mode, the computer moves your player, and you have no control where he goes. You basically focus on hitting the ball. It's not the greatest system because your player can be on the net, and the opponent launched the ball behind you, but you have no control to run back and get it. The other difficulty levels allow you to run wherever you want. You use all the buttons to play. L is a top spin shot, R is a lob, X is a drop shot, Y is a fast shot, B is a flat shot, and A is a slice. I like all the options you have to hit the ball, but I found the controls to be pretty unresponsive at times. The visuals and sound are decent and the gameplay is okay. However, International Tennis Tour is a game I won't be itching to come back and play anytime soon. International Tennis Tour is game number 172 for the collection, and I got it for $15 at a local game store. And at $15, that brings our total up to $29,545 for the SNES Quest. Last but not least is u.n.squadron. u.n.squadron was developed and published by Capcom porting to the SNES in 1992. A terrorist group named Project 4 has taken over the entire kingdom of Aslan. That is, except for one tiny piece of desert known as Area 88, which houses the world's finest pilots, the U.N. Squadron. It's up to the U.N. Squadron to take back Aslan. U.N. Squadron is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game where you control one of 3 pilots, Shin Kazama, Mickey Simon, or Greg Gates. Each pilot has their own ability. Like Kazama builds power the fastest, and Gates recovers from battle damage the quickest. As you play through the levels and defeat enemies, you earn money. Money can be used to purchase new aircraft and weapons. Some aircraft can only carry certain weapons, so you need to select the best aircraft based on the mission. For example, the F-14 Tomcat has very limited ground weapons, so you don't want to take it into battle with a bunch of ground units. There's a myriad of special weapons you can use, but you must purchase each one before a level, as I mentioned, and only certain aircraft can carry certain weapons. Parts of the game suffer from extreme slowdown when too much is happening on the screen, but besides that, the game is really good. The graphics and sound are great, the controls and ship speed are excellent, and the gameplay is fun. If you're a fan of side-scrolling shoot-'em-up games, u.n.squadron is a game worth checking out. u.n.squadron's game number 173 for the collection, and I got it for $68 shipped. And at $68, that brings our total up to $29,613 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. Let's get these games on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'm completing the entire Super Nintendo library, complete in box, right here on this show. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for the Lost Vikings games. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.